Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. This is a different format than my regular readings. These are just, or this I should say, because this is the only one that I'm putting out there so far. More of just like yapping sessions. Like I don't know, I've just been kind of feeling like I just want to come to this space and talk, but that scares the shit out of me for some reason. Like, I'm having a really hard time doing that. So I figured I would just, take the plunge. Which is also like, it's very, very much part of my process too, is that I tend to get lost, or even more, it's not even like that I'm lost. I get confused by the details, or like wanting things to be perfect, or wanting honestly to show up perfectly, say the perfect thing, blah, 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 blah. Fuck. And that may be because I'm a Cancer rising and my moon is in the third house, which is Virgo. And also my moon trines my retrograded Mercury in my 11th house, Taurus. So, yeah, it's like there's positive energy there, but also a lot of earth too, which is maybe like slower moving. The Virgo thing of perfection, the Taurus thing of wanting to feel comfortable. And also even, show up in spaces like where I do feel comfortable, which is why I even created this channel. Not only to be a space for my own comfort, but hopefully a space for other people to feel comfortable and welcome and seen, and, like their experience be validated here, So the main reason, or the main what's a theme, the main point, I guess, of this specific, and I don't know how many of these I'm gonna ever do. This might be the only one I ever do. We'll see. But I know too that like it's very much part of my process that I do get confused by the details, and then eventually I'm just like, fuck it, I just have to do it. I have to do it imperfectly. I have to, like I was even going to try to come up with like an outline or something of points that I wanted to hit, but that was giving me anxiety. So I'm like, just do one, and then either sort out the details or have more of a structure or whatever I need to do. And honestly, I feel like that's how I even started this YouTube channel 4 years ago. Like I did the videos in November of 2021. I had them scheduled to come out in December of 2021, and they were readings for January of 2022. And interestingly enough too, I recently went back and watched a couple of those videos. I didn't watch all of them, but I watched a couple of them, and because I was so sure that I was going to be embarrassed. Like I was so sure that they were a mess, that, like it just, that my voice was shaking, or that my nerves were obvious, I guess. And wouldn't you know it, none of that was actually there. I like I said, like I think I watched the Taurus and Cancer because I'm a Cancer rising, I'm a Taurus sun. I never watch my moon. I should watch readings for my moon. Especially since I am a Cancer rising, but I never do. But anyway, I just was so surprised that, truly the embarrassment, or the worry that I had was not there. Like, I proved myself wrong. And I also know, because when I did make those videos, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell any of my friends. I didn't tell anybody that I was doing that. I didn't tell anybody until 3 or 4 months later, I think, like after I put out a couple videos, and it just kind of came up in conversation that I was having with a couple different people. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing, or, it just kind of randomly came up in conversation. But I remember that I had a folding table, like a 4-foot folding table, and like a craft light. And I had like a PC laptop that didn't have any memory on it. And I was like trying to figure out how to edit the videos, right? Because I have this thing about, appearing perfect. My idea of perfect, right? I mean, like, and of course the illusion of perfection. But if I took pauses, or if I was like stuttering like I usually do, and all of these things that I, judge myself for, I wanted to be able to cut them out. And at that point, when I made that first set of videos, I had no ability to do that. Like, I had never edited a video. I didn't even know like what programs to use, like, and I really did think that my voice was shaking. I really did think that my hands were shaking. Like, none of that happened. Like, I didn't hear my voice shaking. I didn't see my hands shaking, like, oh, it's just so, it's just so crazy. True. Like the stories that we tell ourselves, the things that we believe about ourselves. And then to like, if there is proof, we think of that expression, right? Like me thinking that I was going to go back to those first videos and find proof. But also, I mean, like even just kind of seeing where I'm at now versus where I was. I started with 0 subscribers, and now I have, as of today, 1,045 subscribers. And thank you so much if you have subscribed. If you haven't, why? Like, hello? No, truly, I would love it if you did. But, that's nothing to, that's nothing to be embarrassed about, or and I left a comment. I ended up copying and pasting because I can't repeat myself 12 times. I also can't type the same thing out 12 different times too, but I just copied and pasted like a note to myself. I was just like, hey Liz, it's Liz in 2025. And fuck, I am so proud of you. Like, you're the one that started this journey I am gonna cry. You're the one that started this journey for us. You're the one that was scared and did it anyway. And granted, I don't think I said all of this, but I'm saying it now. Like, I don't think I said all of this in that comment that I left. I'm saying it now though. But, like 2021 Liz is the one that started this whole journey. She's the one that took that chance and felt imperfect and did it anyway. And loved the thing so much that, she would put it out there before even having all of the information, or, like, again, like without even knowing how to edit a video, or even how to upload a video onto YouTube, or, like she did that for me, and now here I am. And, at the end of 2025, still putting out these videos, still loving tarot, recognizing even, my own growth within, my understanding and my connection with tarot. But that also led me to get interested in and take a couple courses in astrology and human design. Oh my gosh. Also, I want to go back and watch some of the readings for the human design ones, because I know when I the first videos that I put out for those, I know I said in it that I was so fucking nervous, and I am pretty sure that my voice was shaking in those. I was so scared for some reason, just worried that I was going to get judged. I never feel like I know enough about anything ever to speak on it. And I just I felt that it was correct, for me to start making videos based on the human design profiles, but I was fucking scared. But I did it anyway, dudes. I did it anyway, and I still do it. And I still never feel like I know enough. And I still have crazy imposter syndrome. That nobody else sees until I say it, I guess. And even then they're like, I don't see it. But, I really am, I would be truly the most insecure person you would ever get to know, because I am. I do feel really confident, which actually this could actually lead into the whole point of this fucking video, or this whole thing. But I feel grounded and sure of myself when I'm by myself, which I spend a lot of time by myself. When I'm in my own aura, my own, space, when there's nobody else around, I am of course, as everybody is, right? But truly, I feel the most content. I feel the most confident. But as soon as there are other people, that's where I'm really insecure when it comes to other people. And I don't know, and it's me in relation to other people. And granted, I have, like I said, I have a Taurus sun, and I have Chiron conjunct my sun by 1 degree. So, I've never fit in. I've never really felt comfortable being perceived. It's, I've kind of come to see being sensitive as a threat, feeling big feelings, or being perceived incorrectly, or somebody having an opinion or a perspective on me, and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? But then I just kind of I take it as it being a me problem. And then, that's kind of when I reinforce my shell. And maybe that's even what it is, going to the Cancer crab thing of without my shell, I feel exposed, or I feel vulnerable, or And that feels unsafe. Because I am really sensitive. To, like other people's energies or moods or, and don't get me started on moods. But anyway, like I said, like this is like a good segue into why I even wanted to do this, even though I feel like I've kind of like pinballed all around here, but whatever. The first one is always messy. The first take, even though this is my second take, it is always, scary. Or there's always a lot of like personal judgment for me. Anyway, I know that's not everybody's experience. But do you ever choose a word for the year? Like, have you ever done that? If you have done that, did you ever like remember it? Like, did you actually like, remember it and like kind of carry it with you throughout the year? Because I have, I feel like for the last, maybe 2 or 3 years, I don't know. I'm like kind of going off of a feeling here, but I couldn't tell you what my words were 2 or 3 years ago. But I know that last year my word was intention for 2025. Or I should say this year, because it's December 31st. But my word was intention. And I can tell you that I didn't give that word a singular thought until October 21st. And I had a DMT session, or like a DMT journey, which, if you don't know what DMT is, it's the property that's in ayahuasca. So it's a psychedelic compound, I guess. But it's just, instead of the whole ayahuasca, process of like purging and then also like being in that state for hours at a time, the DMT experience is smoked, and it lasts minutes. And then, you're literally fine. It's the craziest thing. But I also, I have a video on my DMT journey that's posted on my page, so I won't go all the way into it again. And if I figure out how to link that video to this video, I will do that. I should make a note of that. Okay, now the trick will be to remember to do that. But I went into that without having an intention, because also like the day before I had done mushrooms, and I had really like an experience or a realization about my lack of, or my inability to be authentic. Like, I can be authentic, like I said, at home alone. But which is still authentic, right? It's not just because nobody except for my dog is witnessing it that it's not authenticity, or that it doesn't count, right? But the breakdown happens when I do get around fucking other people. It doesn't matter how long I've known you, how well I know you. I I just kind of like collapse. I just kind of like cave in on myself, and I start getting obsessed over like, again, like how I'm being perceived, and if what I'm saying is being, like taken in the correct context, and, really controlling, I guess. And then I saw this video, or this comment actually, on a Reddit post with somebody who also has Chiron conjunct their sun. And I want to say it's in the 11th house. I don't know if it's Taurus or not, but I'm pretty sure that there was that like link or connection, that they have an 11th house Taurus and Chiron conjunction. And they were talking about how it's basically like covert narcissism, to be literally so self-absorbed, and to like literally be like so concerned or obsessive in thought about how people are thinking about you or how you're coming across. And I was like, oh fuck, I never thought of that. And it does take you out of being authentic, like it's really hard to be authentic when you are obsessing over, these things that are just not even happening. And also it was saying too that like it's kind of like taking away other people's, what was it? It was like other people's, basically like people are not ever perceiving you in the way that you think that they are. And it's like selfish to think that people are. So anyway, I was like, oof, yeah. That hits the spot. It really helps to, for me personally, like having the vocabulary, like having the words to put with experiences, feelings, helps a lot. Like, like it helps me to understand it. And also even, of course, from somebody else's perspective, somebody else sharing that they are pretty much experiencing the same thing that I am, and they're able to put it into those words, helps a lot. And I really do hope that my readings on YouTube, or even potentially these Yap sessions, like I really do hope that there is something in there that helps people. That's the whole fucking point of anything on this channel, is to help, again, like make you feel validated, make you feel seen, like make you accept, your experience, or like where you're at, what's going on, better. Because for me, it helps. Like, so yeah. And again, like speaking of vocabulary, like, so intention was my word for last year. It did not even come into focus or whatever until October. And then, through that DMT journey, and truly the way that happened, it was the most perfect thing. Like it was the most perfect experience, the most perfect way to receive that message as well. But then, like, I was kind of left with, what the fuck does intention mean? And then I was like, I was searching for it. I mean, of course I Googled it, right? But, and then I was trying to search for it like on TikTok. And I mean, most of the stuff that was on there, half of it was either in relation to dating or relationships. the other part was just like people, like almost more, I guess, like spiritual-ish, I guess, like people talking about setting intentions around, you know, full moons, or I guess new moons too. Like, you know, new moons are usually intending for new stuff to come in. Full moons are intending for things to be released. But you know, just kind of more on, but nobody was actually explaining what intention was. Because I'm like, I mean, if we could just use the words, but if we have no idea what they mean, or there is even no actual intention behind them, then what the fuck, right? So finally, and it's really simple. Intention is an idea or a goal with aligned action. Like, both of those things have to exist at the same time for an intention. It's not just like, oh, I intend to, you know, grow my business, or I intend to meet my soulmate, or, you know, like I intend, but you can set those intentions, but if you're not taking aligned action to grow your business, to expand your business, to, you know, get clarity and direction around, you know, where your business is heading or whatever, if you're not even putting yourself out there to date people, then it literally is just an idea. Like, it's not an intention anymore. It's just a thought. It's just an idea. And so that's what, like I said, that did not become clear to me until the end of October. So part of me was like, well, maybe I'll just kind of use that to go into 2026, because, you know, it was only just in October that I even remembered what the word was, but also like my word for the year, you know. And then I also like finally got an understanding of it. And then even also like started to be more intentional with what I was doing and why I was doing it. But then, you know, every time I would think about it, the word visibility kept coming through. Just a little whisper, you know, like in the back of my head. It's always like these little whispers always come from like the back right of my head. Just a little whisper. I almost kind of feel like if I were to keep intention as my word, that just being lazy, like, you know, it's literally the opposite of being intentional, you know? So I have decided that visibility is going to be my word for the year. And also like I'll put like a list of words on the screen, like for you, because, you know, if you want to choose a word, even if you forget it, maybe it'll come back around in a month or two or 10, you know. Shit, I mean, even if it actualizes on the last day of the year, it still counts, you know. There really is no wrong way, you know, to go about this anyway. But for me, it's going to be visibility. And here's what visibility means to me: letting myself be seen as I am, where I can be met, allowing my inner world to have a place in the outer world, letting what is true in me be perceivable by others, standing somewhere instead of hiding everywhere, being findable by those who recognize me. And all of this feels absolutely fucking terrifying. 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 But also, like, at the same time, I know that I'm ready for it. Like, I feel it. I mean, even just the fact that this word kept coming through. This isn't just a matter of, excuse me, my throat closing up. Let me grab a water. But yeah, this is not a matter of, actually, what is the like Webster's definition of visibility is the state of being able to the state of being able to see or be seen, the distance one can see as determined by light and weather conditions, the degree to which something is attracted general attention. So I think it's kind of funny because as far as visibility goes, right? It's not like I'm like showing my face in this video, but also like all you would see is me like literally staring outside because that's like what I'm doing. So why, why video that? I don't know. But it's not a matter though of like, it's not a matter of people actually seeing me. Let me see. I'm glad I'm talking about this out loud. It doesn't have to do with like actually like my actual face or whatever, right? It has more to do with sharing even something like this, like sharing my thoughts, sharing my feelings, sharing where I'm at. And again, like I said, like the purpose of that is that you would potentially recognize yourself where you are. And I don't know, like feel more, I don't know, comfortable. Like, I really do hope that whenever, whenever I do readings or even, sitting here talking to you like this, that it feels like talking to a friend, because this is also very much like how I talk to my friends. Like anything that I will share or have shared here, like they already know, and have probably heard a million times. So anyway, yeah, like, visibility in the sense of, I mean, truly, like the last 8 years, I mean, really my entire life, but especially in the last 8 years, like I really have hold away or hidden myself away. Like, I really think that I needed to do that. I really did need to have like a safe space and like a safe container to unpack literally all of my shit, all of my inner shit. It's kind of interesting that I'm like starting to cough though. I'm honestly like taking that as something breaking free like in my throat. Because also, I mean, like the whole point of also like when I started this channel was to heal my throat chakra, to talk more, to say more, to like share more, like express more. I think I've done that to a certain degree, but certainly not, to my fullest extent. But yeah, 8 years ago, which is also interesting because that was 2017 and that was the last time that there was a 1 year. And of course, 2025 has been a 9 year. And I do feel a sense of completion with a certain aspect of my life and a way of being, but also it's like feeling a lot of pressure to, or even like impatience with what's next and what is going to be like on the other side of that, it's almost kind of like, the thing of like I just feel complete with it and I just want to be done, but I don't want to be in the middle, like I don't want to be in the liminal space of, the point between, one thing and another thing. But anyway, so yeah, like like I was saying, 8 years ago, I left my 8-month marriage. I moved 3 times, I think in 6 months. I've been in this house like, for the last 8 years and I have fucking unpacked, I mean, truly anything I feel that there was to unpack. And also what is also beautiful is that this year specifically, I feel like has been huge for letting go. I mean, I know it was also the year of the snake. And I think that is still ongoing until, is it February when it changes over to the fire horse? So again, right, like just being almost there, but not quite, not all the way, and like wanting to like get out of the rest of the dead skin, but also knowing that I can't rush that process, like I literally have not really any control over that, but just continuing to like surrender and trust. This year too, like I did EMDR therapy, and holy shit, I highly recommend EMDR therapy, although I feel like the way that it went for me is maybe not the same experience that everybody has with EMDR, but for me, like I picked up, that's how I are, you know, that's the words that I use anyway. I picked up my 3-year-old self, my 7-year-old self, my 12-year-old, 14, like 15, 16, 18, 22, and 33-year-old selves through the process of EMDR. And again, like I was saying, with vocabulary and language, right? Like a lot of what came through was understanding confusion and grief and sadness that, you know, when I was 3, I had no fucking clue what that meant. When I was 7, I had no clue what that meant. You know, and carrying that into my teens, into my, you know, 20s, my 30s to now, you know, and being my 42-year-old self now, and being able to go back to those versions of myself with the knowledge that I have now, with the experience that I have now. It's literally reparenting yourself and saying, hey, like, I can understand why you felt confused, or why your feelings were hurt, why you felt scared. I can understand all of those things, but also I have new information. Like I understand life and these experiences better and differently now. And also, like, I've got you, you know, like I'm capable of being responsible for you now. And I'm also capable of being responsible for the stories and the beliefs that I've carried around for literally my whole fucking life. You know, even like newborn, like the last session that I did with her, it was like literally seeing like my birth, but also like all of the other versions of myself were in that room too. And I was a C-section baby. And it literally felt like as soon as the umbilical cord was cut, I like lost any connection to anybody. Okay, I'm gonna cry. Hang on. Oof. And then going through this process, like in, you know, the EMDR, like therapy, of tethering myself back to myself. Like, I was just, I was like getting this image of just like a balloon that was floating around, you know, like it was losing its helium or whatever, you know, like it wasn't just floating away, but it was like, you know, just kind of being like blown around. And we all grabbed that balloon. Oh my God. We all grabbed that balloon. And then like it was like over. Like after that, like it just like the balloon popped. Also, I feel like having like a woo-woo, you know, kind of background, I think really helped with EMDR, because I really just let, you know, like I feel like, okay, like with you know, having a woo-woo Um, what would you call that? Like, um, I don't know, mindset, or like, it's like I was just allowing whatever was coming through, like whatever images were coming through, whatever I was being shown, whatever I heard in my head as well, right? Like, and and I'm not saying that people who aren't woo woo don't do that as well, but I think people who are quote unquote woo woo, because I just can't think of a different word, I think that there's more of an ease to like, or more of a connection maybe like with your intuition. And I mean, truly, like, you do have to just trust like what comes to mind, like you have to trust what you're being shown, you have to trust where you're being guided. And again, I know that's not exclusive to people who are more on the woo woo side, but I do believe that people who are on the woo woo side, that is like a strong thing, is to reconnect with your intuition and your own, internal guidance and stuff. So anyway, I think that the timing was perfect. I think I was in the most perfect state, to go through that, being who I am now, even that it's a 9 year, that it's the year of the snake. I mean, it truly is like freeing myself of, like, I call them whole cruxes, because those are the periods of my life: 3 years old, 7 years old, 12 years old, 14, 15, 16ish, like just early teens, 18, 20, 22, 33. Like, those are the pivotal points where my energy got zapped and stuck, and there was a belief, there was a behavior that was attached to that belief there. And I have made every decision in my life to this point from those places. So it really was like freeing, the energy of like whole cruxes, even to like, shamanic, like soul retrievals, like it's reclaiming a part of you. But I feel like it's, having a different understanding of that part of you too, because it wasn't just that I was freeing myself. It was that I was understanding those times of my life differently. And I could release the story. And that's not to say that I don't just immediately fall back into the same thought pattern, the same fears, the same doubts, the same blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know how you like completely change your personality, but I do know that I catch myself that much quicker. Or instead of, something preventing me from doing something longer, like even making this and chatting for 50 minutes now, and I'm not even done. So this only came to my mind a couple days ago to do this. And here I am already putting it out there, right? Whereas in the past, like when I first started this channel, it took me months I think I established Heretic Owl as a business in August. And it had taken who knows how long to get to that point, or to like choose a name and whatever. But then I didn't even start making videos for YouTube until November because I was fucking freaking out. Like I had to go through, like, I literally just had to let every single doubt and fear and insecurity, I literally had to just let it come up. And I had to work through every single one of those. And I had to like figure out, is that true or not? Most times it wasn't true, whatever it was, like that I'm not that good of a reader, that I don't know what I'm doing, that I, couldn't be successful at this, that I, like, who am I to think that, I don't know, that I could put these videos out there, that anybody would even fucking care. And like I said, I did it without telling anybody. I didn't want to be visible to anybody, which is also like kind of hilarious, of like, putting content out there, but then also being afraid of it being seen. But that's where I was at the time, and I fucking did it anyway. But like I said, like now though, it took me a couple days, and really it was just more of like, oh, what am I going to talk about? And then it was finally just like, I'm just going to sit down and just start fucking talking. Like, who cares? Whatever's going to come out is going to, is going to come out. But now it's like going back into another 1 year, and it's a personal year 8 for me, which, what does that mean? Abundance? Whoops. If I could fucking type. A powerful cycle focused on power, abundance, and material success. Absolutely. I'll take that. A time to reap rewards from past efforts. Motherfucker. Absolutely. Because that is what I want. And I'm also like, I'm ready to be seen in that. Even if you don't see my face, you're going to feel me. Hopefully. No, you will. But man, am I fucking glad though that am I glad that I left that marriage? Am I glad that I moved here? That I left my corporate job? That I started a YouTube channel? That I really dug into myself, that I trusted my own shell, that I made that shell thick as fuck for a long time. And even with that, I'm ready to thin that down now, because I've got this now. Like, I'm able to protect my vulnerability, and I'm able to discern between like what's mine and what's not. And I don't have to get confused or lost in people misunderstanding me or not seeing me correctly. I don't have to be in control of that. And don't get me wrong, I will be freaked out along the way. But I will be doing it. And I was not ready to do that before now. I wasn't even ready to do that 2 months ago. But I am ready to do that now. Like, I am ready to share, what feels vulnerable to me. I am ready for people to see these videos and to find this channel. And I'm also ready for that shit to happen easily. Like, you know, it's just a funnel or, you know, also last thing maybe that I'll, because I know this is fucking long. And if you're still here, bro, like, I don't know. Part of me is like you deserve like a fucking prize. I'm like thank you isn't enough, because who doesn't want to just like have somebody hear them just yapping, you know? But anyway, I had a reading done by the expert astrologer Meg, and I got this idea from somebody on TikTok that pulled the chart for Costco, and I was like, oh fuck, let me pull the chart for Heretic Owl. And I had the email from when I established it as a business, and so I just used that because I had a date and a time for that. And wouldn't you know it, it's a Capricorn rising chart, and I'm a Cancer rising. So I just feel like that in and of itself was fucking nuts, because you know, like my seventh house of, you know, like relationships and contracts and partnerships and shit is Capricorn. So like a Capricorn rising would be a fairly good, I think, like my mom is a Capricorn rising, and me and my mom have always been really close. But the main points that came through that was that I have Pluto in the first house, and I have Saturn in the second house, Aquarius. I think it's technically the first house in Placidus, but in whole sign it's the second house. So definitely a thing about slow growth. Also, like something about like transformations. Let's see. Did I like make notes? I know that I did, but where are they? Let's see. What was that? What the hell? Let's see. Here we go. Takes a long time to master. Saturn first house is self-critical. People see me as an authority, but I have imposter syndrome, which I fucking do. But that's the thing, right? Like people don't see me that way. I just think that they do. Evolve, grow, and change. Nurtures, let's see. Also, like she mentioned, like that I can't see a ton of people in the same day because my energy runs out, and that's true. Like anytime I do events, like 3 hours is pretty much my max, because otherwise I just feel like completely depleted. And even like when I do readings for YouTube, like I usually do 2 or 3 in a day, like usually no more than 3, unless I'm having like an especially energetic day or something. But that was true. Target audience is highly empathetic, emotionally intelligent. The channel feels like a safe space, which is what I want. So yeah, I know that there's more. I just like that. Those were only the couple things that I wrote down. And I do like, I want to listen to the recording again, but let me see. What does this say? I'm also pretty sure that there was a grand Earth trine and a grand air trine in that chart. Let's see. With Pluto conjunct the ascendant, deep need for transformation, powerful inner resilience and strength, perhaps self-reliant. Saturn, inadequate, self-doubt. Your business identity enjoys the attention to detail, getting into the facts and diving deep into the research or learning phase. Yeah. So anyway, I know she mentioned too about just how the business would probably transform like many times, and it has. Like, I've changed my logo a couple times. I had an Etsy store for a while. I was like making stuff for my Etsy store for a while. I closed my Etsy store. Like, I sold all of my inventory and deleted like all of my listings for it, and I've just recently revamped it to where like I sell like basically affirmations and quotes that drop into my consciousness. So if you're interested in anything like that, there is a link in my description for those to go to my Etsy store. It really is like literally stuff that just drops into my head, like usually before I go to bed. And I've just been making lists of them, and then I'll like put them on Canva pages. They're, different collections of those. But even too, like, how I've just kind of evolved in my, like I said, connection with tarot and my understanding of it, and how I read the cards. So I'm looking forward to that continuing into 2026. And I don't know, I guess I have no idea what I've said throughout this, and I'm just going to trust. I'm going to trust whatever it was. And who knows if I ever make any of these ever again. But if I do just want to yap, then I will. And also I feel really awkward, like ending a phone call. Like, that's kind of how this feels. So, okay. Bye.